Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Friday afternoon, and I think a monster commitment for Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers coming on the recruiting trail. Four-star, I'm going to call him defensive chess piece, Kentavion Anderson, committing to Clemson. Love this kid and kind of surprised that this recruitment didn't attract more media attention. One of the best players in the state, quite frankly, in my opinion, one of the best players across the country, kind of turned into a in-state battle between Clemson and South Carolina. Clemson getting it done. Love the athletic profile of this kid. Love the versatility that he brings. There's a lot to talk about when it gets into Kentavion Anderson. Now, I think we got two things to talk about for Clemson this afternoon. One, I want to give Kentavion Anderson his flowers. I think this kid is an absolute stud. But I think I secondly want to preview late in May, monster visit weekend for Clemson. We saw Clemson do this earlier in the spring, and we had like 10 commitments come out of it. Kind of getting the same vibe going into this monster summer official visit as well. Want to talk about some players we're going to be keeping an eye on. Now, before we get into it, as always, to the Clemson fans, appreciate you guys. Many of y'all been showing a lot of love to the boys all spring long. I'm sure many of y'all remember the heater Clemson was on earlier in the spring. Y'all know how much fun I had breaking down the commitments. I can't thank you guys enough for rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, can we start with the athletic profile first? 6'2", closer to 200 pounds, very, very long in the arms. This kid looks like a defensive back that you want in the back end at a top-tier defense across the country. Then you look at some of the tested metrics. He's got a strong track and field profile, so you know he has size. You know he can run in a straight line. Really explosive kid, do. And I saw a video 40-inch vert from Kentavion Anderson. And he is a twitchy, long defender that can operate in man coverage, that can close down on throwing windows. But I love what this kid can do around the line of scrimmage. You know, really, really good tackling in space. That's what stands out to me about Kentavion Anderson is you love the profile, then you get into the film and say, there's nothing that we can't do with this kid for the next couple of years. I think he could play as a single high safety. He has the length, he has the size, he has the long speed to cover a lot of ground and be a ball hawking safety. But he's so good closer to the line of scrimmage, playing nickel, can hold up in man coverage. As a box safety, extremely good coming downhill and making tackles. These versatile defensive chess pieces are so important in this modern era of college football because you look at where we're going, it's speed and space. You got to have big bodies that can support the run, but also hold up in coverage. Kentavion Anderson, one of those kind of guys. But then you look at the different kind of offenses you'll see on a week-to-week basis. You might see some 12 personnel from some teams. You want guys that are big and physical and can hold up kind of around the line of scrimmage. Then you'll see some teams that want to spread you out, make you run, chase, and tackle. Like, you don't have to take Kentavion Anderson off the field. You can use him in a million different ways because he checks so many boxes in terms of what you're looking for as a player. The film's a freaking blast. I'm stunned that nobody seemed to be talking about this recruitment because I think he's one of the best players in the country. You take a look at what he can do. There's really nothing that you can't ask him to do. You talk about like being a ball hawk, middle of the field, roaming, go make plays on the football, certainly can do that. As you continue to work through the film, you'll see him as a box safety. You'll see him as a single center field kind of like cover one safety. You see him up in the box right now. This is where I think he really excels. Dropping back in coverage, but when it's time to fire downhill and go close the distance between himself and the quarterback, man, he's doing it at a high level. He is flying around and making plays. I could even see him putting on some weight, becoming an off-ball linebacker, kind of like Wade Woodaz did. I mean, there's a lot of potential and possibilities you have for this kid. And again, he's so good at closing down on throwing windows, and he's so long, he gets his hands on just about everything. Love this. I mean, we need this. This is massive. Where this sport is with all the speed and space, you got to have guys that can come up and tackle in space, and it doesn't get any more textbook than what Kentavion Anderson does around the line of scrimmage. Whatever you want him to do, he can do it. I believe he's going to be coming off the edge right here. He can rip it up. I mean, talk about physical at the point of attack. This running back going to try to help out in pass pro. Not a shot. Not a shot. He's a guy that can create negative plays, can hold up in man coverage, which you're going to see on the film a little bit too. I mean, all right, nickel corner, hold up in some man coverage. His ability to not only run with wide receivers, but more importantly, like, look, there's some separation here. Look at how he squeezes down and kind of just eats up that space and then goes and gets those long hands on the football and break it up. You love it. A lot of different things you can do with this kid, and that's kind of where it starts. Supporting the run, yeah, absolutely. Taking on blocks, get behind the line of scrimmage. Here's where it gets fun. Clemson sitting top 5 class in the country. I believe Kentavion Anderson is going to be the highest ranked commit for Clemson. Let's take a look at what we have coming up late in May. And again, I remember previewing the spring visit weekend, and then we were just breaking down commitments pretty much the whole weekend from Clemson. Man, if you can grab some of these kids, it's a loaded week. I want to start with Bryce Perry-Wright. South Carolina's had Clemson has had some success going down into the states of Alabama and Georgia, grabbing some of the best defensive linemen. Bryce Perry-Wright, he's one of them. 6'2", 250, a little bit smaller than Peter Woods, but kind of reminds you of Peter Woods in terms of what he can do as a flexible edge / 3-tech kind of guy. Really long, too. He might be a little bit of a squattier body, but he's got some serious length to him. Darius Gray, to me, is the most polished up interior offensive lineman that we see in the country. That's going to be a tight battle between a lot of heavy hitting programs. I think LSU's trending. Sadarian Morgan, one of the top wide receivers in the country. You continue to scroll down. I think Clemson borderline leads for Samari Matthews, really long kind of lockdown boundary cornerback. You continue to scroll down, and it's blue chip city. I mean, Joey O'Brien's a guy that two-way production, probably going to be safety. A guy that kind of reminds you of Kentavion Anderson, if we're being honest. Kenny Ogboko, he's kind of trending to Georgia, North Carolina kid. Can play guard, can play tackle. You scroll down the list, and it's blue chip after blue chip after blue chip. Clemson normally closes out on a lot of these ones. And so we're going to preview this weekend a little bit more when the time comes. This is going to be a monster next couple of days and weeks for Clemson on the recruiting show. Like, we know that's kind of what it looks like. Dabo Swinney wants to know what his class looks like kind of by the end of June. So we're going to get all these kids on campus. We're going to make them feel like they're at home. And we kind of want to lock these commitments in prior to the July 4th weekend. That's normally what we see from this Clemson program. If you can hit on some of these kids that are going to be on campus, it's some high caliber kids that will be making their way to Clemson. We'll talk about it more when the time comes. Massive commitment, in-state battle, getting won by Clemson. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.